Hi, this is Juliet. I am JulietBound on Instagram. You can do at JulietBound, and also cancer doesn't have to be ugly. You can spell that out as cancer doesn't have to be ugly. Those are my Instagram plugs, and I am on Unleash Truths with Jaszy Mango.
Hey guys, this is your girl Jaszy Mango, and I'm doing something new and improved for you guys. Welcome to my new show, Unleash Truths. I'm sitting here chilling with the beautiful
Juliet.
Yes, y'all, and we're about to get into it. So if you weren't ready, get ready. Hey, Miss Juliet, how are you doing?
Hey, Jaszy. It's been a long time coming. I'm so grateful to be here and to be with you on the couch. And, you know, we've been a long time trying to get this together, but finally we're here. So
and I appreciate you for coming, and I appreciate you for staying in contact with me, and I hope I tried to stay in contact with you as well.
Absolutely.
So, you know, your story just touched me because my mom went through some similar things.
Wow.
And I know everybody might not know you, but I think that you are a superhero.
Oh, thank you so much.
And for you to have gone through so much and be so talented and then just keep a smile on your face. Now, yes, we're only Insta friends.
Yeah.
Then, because now we're friends.
Yes. Look,
we friends now, right? But how do you maintain just your good spirit?
I think that at the beginning of this, it was one of the most hardest things to ever come across. When you've been diagnosed with cancer, well, I started out with blood cancer. And when they diagnosed me, it was like, okay, you got 6 months of chemo, go through that. And, you know, so the finish line helped. And then also just knowing that I was going to come out of it. And so I kept the faith and just, you know, I'm like, just get to January. And then unfortunately, in May, they found another cancer, and it was, you know, terminal breast cancer, stage 4. And so it just seemed like I was sent all of these angels and friends and things like that to just lift me up and support me. But for the most part, it's a mental battle every single day. Yeah. I think that for me, the most important message to get out there is when you have a cancer diagnosis or a terminally ill diagnosis, you have to maintain a mental health that is beyond understanding. And you have to continue to keep being prayed up and positive innuendos, positive people. And not all the time everybody's going to be positive that you'll be around, but you have to be strong enough to emotionally support yourself, really.
And when you say have a strong mental, because I feel like especially in the Black community, it's just shunned upon to have
weak.
Yes. And especially like when you're in a relationship and you might be with your mate and they might feel like you might be complaining all the time, or there's always something wrong with you, or you're becoming a burden to them. And in this industry alone, it's so many mental things that beat you down every day. And when you think that you have people or family members in your corner and you don't, it's really hard on your mental. Like, it's something I struggle with all the time. I'm a perfectionist. I want things to go my way. We don't like certain things about how we look, maybe. We don't like certain things about how people say things. And then sometimes maybe we go to extra conclusions about other things.
Absolutely.
And I feel as though everyone doesn't have that understanding, and they might take it a wrong way. Like, oh, well, you're just negative. Or, oh, you're just this. And it's like, no, can you take the time to just understand I'm going through something? And every day I'm trying to be a better me, but just because you give me a pep talk today, it might not be fixed tomorrow.
Or the next hour.
Yes, or a year. I mean, there's no time on it. You know what I mean? So when you wake up and you're just like, oh shit, I don't want to go to chemo today. Or I don't want to talk to you. Or I don't like you. And you might not mean these things. But this is how your emotions are. How do you get out of it?
So it's funny because you touched on a couple of things. Like you said, it breaks you down mentally because as you see things leaving, like your hair. Currently, what happens with me, my side effects is that my hands and feet turn dark. You can barely feel the tips of your fingers or your feet, or the muscles in my feet get very stuck, you know, like a Charlie horse, and I'm like shaking it, trying to move it, and my tongue is black and bruised on the sides of it. I got sores on my tongue, so I have to have a special mouthwash so that I can eat certain things, you know. Taste buds change. As you go through this, you lose so much of yourself and try to maintain, which kind of brought me to the conclusion of like starting my own page, Cancer Doesn't Have to Be Ugly. It was one of the most important things to me to hold on to who I was before this disease came. And so as you see me here is what I was before. So when I go to chemo, I normally will dress up really nice, you know, to make myself feel better. Yeah, and just like, we're going to slay this day, even though this day is going to slay us in a minute, you know.
Right. I like that.
But for that part is hard. You see things fading away. You see, you know, just your outer appearance changing. And you see friends go and let go because you're sick, because they're scared to deal with your sickness. They're scared that you're going to die. You're scared you're going to die. You know, all of that kind of stuff goes through your mind. And mentally, you are in a war zone, in a battlefield every single day.
Oh my gosh.
And unfortunately, like you said, the black community has lost its empathy.
It's none.
Ability to be empathetic.
Absolutely.
They may be empathetic this week, and then it's like, oh girl, you know.
Yeah, there's always something going on with you.
Yeah, and it's you know, like you said, a burden. I've been called a burden. I've been told I'm a burden. I've been, you know, said a couple of things, you know, and it's like I was a hard worker before this. I worked in computers and tried to do my damnedest, you know, in my field and stuff like that. Like after I went through the 6 months of chemo and stopped in January, I thought I was going back to work. You know, my old job was like, hey, come back, you know. And here's another cancer, you know, and really detrimental cancer, you know. So most of the time, it's always up to you whether you're going to fight this day and win it or you're not. And sometimes you don't. Sometimes you don't win the day. I do have a very hard time the night before chemo. And that's Tuesday nights. Tuesday nights I am flustered. I'm dropping everything everywhere. I'm nervous. I'm high anxiety, you know, and sad and depressed and want to kick something in because I don't want to go. But when I wake up that morning, it's like, all right, let's go. You know, here I will say lately, mentally, it's been one of the toughest things because I don't get to stop chemo anymore. I have to take it for the rest of my life.
Wow.
And so for me, it's like there is no end in sight. And so it's like, I don't want to continue on this hamster wheel. But then I think about people like Nipsey Hussle and, you know, the hip-hop community and people who are just good, and KRS-One and David Banner and the people like that. I just be like, man, these people are speaking positive things. They keep me grounded, and I keep just remembering that this is a marathon. Life is a marathon. Life is a marathon. You don't know when you run that race what you're going to run into. You don't, because none of us had the markers on us to say, oh, you're going to do this, you're going to get this, or this is going to happen. We just have to take it by storm. Each storm that comes, you just have to deal with it and stuff like that. So prayer is one of the most strongest things, God in my life, and just surrendering my thoughts and my insecurities every day. Like you said, I have chipped teeth from chemo, flat tongue, fingernails, hand, you know, everything changes. And I'm balding, you know, so it's, the hair was real hard.
You know, I can imagine.
My friends were like, girl, you look so good with, you know, short hair. And I just wanted to be like, boom.
Right,
you know,
because it was like, it was different because it wasn't an option you had.
Exactly.
Right.
It was taken from me. And it was like, No, you know what I mean? And people don't get or realize, as much as we like to be glamorous, we like to change our hair.
Absolutely.
I love to change my hair, and I want a ponytail or some braids so bad right now, you know. But I don't have the luxury to do that. And we think that things are so difficult when we're fully healthy. But just imagine if you can't get a ponytail or a certain hairstyle that you want because you're bald-headed, because of a disease that's, you know, kind of destroying your body. You know what I mean? Like, that sucks.
Right, absolutely.
So, but the Black community, if I could say anything, needs to learn empathy. How to be empathetic and sympathize with people. People are so selfish these days. They walk around thinking about self and, oh, this, you know, one of the cruelest things people say, and I'm speaking from the cancer community, we hate when people be like, well, all of us can go at any time, you know, but you're not fighting cancer.
Right.
Stop with the bullshit. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like, we can go out, I still can go out here and have a car accident. I still can go out here and have a stroke. Absolutely. But you're not dying from cancer. You don't have a terminally ill disease eating at your body and hurting you every day. You may be hurting from something else. You may have something. And don't get me wrong, because I've always been very strong about checking on my friends, even though I'm going through this. Most of them are like, well, how are you? And I get that, and I'm thankful for that. But also, I have to remember and be mindful that people are going through other things as well. Yeah. And it's not just about my cancer. So I always try to make sure that I'm checking in on their well-being as well. So that's important, imperative to me, because I have to maintain being a good friend like they're being with me, you know. So God has sent me some true angels amongst me, and just, you know, have held my hand. And you also spoke about the significant other. Well, I'm on my second leave. Me too. Listen, you know, I've been left twice while I've been fighting this disease, and it's one of the most uncomfortable things to ever experience. As I was stating on the interview I was doing in last night, if somebody comes down with cancer and stuff, don't run. Like, don't run. Stand and be their friend. Be there for them. It was one of the most touchy subjects for me, because I just literally got out of a situation where, you know, I was left, and the person promised to be there for me.
And I like that you said that, not to cut you off, but it's just like, I feel like when I was growing up, promises meant stuff. And I'm having a really tough time. I already have a tough time trusting people in general. But if you promise me something, because you don't have to promise.
You don't.
You know what I mean? I try. There's other words. You know what I'm saying? Don't promise me something, and then when it's time for you to show and prove, you're nowhere to be found. Because that's how I feel as well. Like, I was just like abandoned. And I already have, you know, like, you know, father issues. So that is even harder, and then it makes me just think of other things. It takes my brain to a whole nother spot. So it's like, if you say that I'm going to be here through whatever you're going through, whatever happened to you, whoever did whatever to you in the past or the future or now, and then it's time for you to show up through all the pain.
You sitting over here looking all quiet.
I just want to let you know, baby, that I'ma hold you down.
I had a long day in life.
Remember the first time when we met? You said if I ever took a fall, baby, would you have my back? I said yes, I'll have it through it all. When times are good or times are bad, it makes us stronger. That's a fact. When I'm upset, you make me laugh. There's some break love keeps us on track. It makes me wanna hold you down. Nothing else can come between us now. Yeah, hold you down to the top. We're climbing now. Yeah, hold you down. Nothing else can come between us now. Hold you down to the top. We are climbing now. When things are good or things are bad, one thing remains. When things are good or things are bad, one thing remains. I'ma hold you down.